Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Rappler Talk Sports. The big news of the week: Coach Bo Perosol of the UP Fighting Maroons has stepped down as the head coach of the University of the Philippines men's senior team. So, what does the future hold for the UPMBT? Do we have a new coach already? What's Coach Bo's plans? Where's he going to go next? To discuss all of that and more, like taking your questions too. Tonight rather, we have Coach Bo as our very special guest, but he's also joined by Attorney Agaton Overo, the team manager of the UP Fighting Maroons, and Sir Renan Dalisay, the chairman of Nowhere to Go But Up. We are going to talk, we are going to converse, and by the end of the night, the goal is simple: to know what's the future for the UP Fighting Maroons. So, whenever they are ready, we are going to have them on. And here they are right now. Welcome to Rappler Talk Sports, Sir Aggs, Sir Renan, and Coach Bo. Let's start with you, Coach Bo. How are you feeling tonight? I know it's been a big last 24 hours.
Yeah, it had been a very tiring last 24 hours for me, no. But mostly, it was good because I had been receiving a lot of thank you notes and messages. It's been very heartwarming, no.
Mm-hmm.
The people who had been thanking and appreciating what we had done for the UP men's basketball team for the last 4 or 5 years, no.
Right.
So yeah, it's been tiring, but it's had been a fulfilling day also.
That's great to hear. Now, there's a lot to discuss about UP, but before we get there, too, I want to first ask Sir Renan and then Sir Aggs. How have you been the last year and a half? I know the world has kind of slowed down a little bit, or for some people, it's been faster, but the pandemic has changed a lot of things about the world. How has life been for both of you and life for the UP Maroons? What has been happening? Can you enlighten us?
Okay, I'll go first. Uh, we're good, Naveen. We're surviving. The past 24 hours has been a bit stressful for all of us. We've been meeting the team, the whole team, once in a while via Zoom. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been raring to wear this shirt in the game venue. Hopefully, there will be a clearer directive when possibly the UAP will start. Thank you, Naveen, for inviting us here.
My pleasure. I'm happy to have you all here. Sir Aggs, how has it been as the team manager of UP the last year? Okay, I believe maybe some technical difficulties right now. So, as we try to retrieve Sir Ag's signal, let's talk a little bit now about the last 24 hours. Let's start with you, Coach Bo. I mean, you mentioned a lot of the heartfelt messages and you mentioned like just a change in everything for you. But has it really hit you yet that after the past almost 6 years, you're no longer the head coach of UP?
Well, there's a lot of mixed feelings about this, Naveen, no? Kasi when I made this personal decision, it did not happen overnight. No, it did not happen
Mm-hmm.
a week or months. No, I had been thinking about this for the last couple of years, actually. No, but you are right. No, when I sent that letter, there was this sense after receiving the messages from a lot of people. There's this feeling of tapos na talaga, because before there was some hesitation also, no, but nasa isip mo lang that you've been trying your best with the help of a lot of people to build this program. But the question again is, on the personal note, will I continue? Will I get somebody to continue the program? What's going to be the best solution for the team as well to be competitive in the next 3 to 5 years again, no? Trying to rebuild, trying to restart, trying to reboot.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there's a mixture of a lot of feelings inside of me, but I could not decipher it yet. But I'm truly excited about this happening.
First of all, Coach Bo, I want to tell you also that's a very nice background you have over there. It looks like a very nice place you're in right now. You mentioned Coach, and we have Sir Aggs back, and we are gonna get to him. But before we get there, I want to ask Coach Bo because he mentioned that he was hesitating for a little bit about this decision. So, Coach, what do you think to you was the key turnaround that made you stop hesitating and decide it's time for me to move on to the next level?
Well, first, the hesitancy came from the fact that we all started this. No, it became a parang a brainchild. No, it became like a baby for us, for the nowhere to go but up, for Renan, for Aggs, and for a lot of sponsors. And then we saw this program grew in the last few years. Parang the hesitancy comes from the fact that will you let go of this, and not personally be there. Of course, we will not disappear, but we will be on the sidelines. But always the question is that the hesitancy would come from will you not be involved directly? So that is the
Mm-mm.
question. But just like a lot and a million of people during this pandemic, Naveen, you come to realize that there are also a lot of things that still needs to be done. Especially for me, after also the passing of my mom last month, and even before that,
Mhm.
and I'm turning 50 this year. So para bang
Mhm.
iniisip mo what's going to be how do I see the next 10 years for me? Will I still
Right.
be grinding out day in and day out, 3 hours of practice, going to practice? And I seem to realize that I've done that already for the last 25 years or 3 decades of my life coaching. So I was thinking that I need a fresh start also. No, para bang iniisip ko, I need a change of scenery. I need a change of responsibility. So it's all personal on my part. But at the
Mhm.
same time, I know that the program is running. It's on its feet. We know that it's we have capable people running this, and that's why I'm really happy about this decision.
That's true. There's a lot of people now behind the scenes running the program, helping, set the wheels in motion for UP as we anticipate the return of the UAAP. Sir Aggs, you are the team manager of the Fighting Maroons, and if I'm not mistaken, Coach Bo, or formerly Coach Bo now, his new role will be the program director of the Fighting Maroons basketball team. Is that correct? And if yes, what exactly will those objectives of him now entail? What will he be doing on a day-to-day basis for UP? Maybe muted? Is Sir Ags, maybe try to unmute the. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we're having some technical difficulties with Sir Ags again, or is he back now? Is he there? Okay, as we are attempting to retrieve Sir Ags' signal, of course, internet issues are well documented in our side of the world. Maybe Sir Renan can enlighten us first about what Coach Bo's daily objectives will now entail.
Actually, to be honest, Naveen, since it's really Ag's job itong what is being offered, we've decided kasi na kahit nag-resign na si Coach Bo, we want him to be part of the program. We want him to be part of the management. But honestly, I actually still don't know if Coach Bo accepted it already. But of course,
Mm.
kami nila Aggs and nowhere to go but up. We really want him to be part of the team, even in any other capacity. Like I think the position that is being offered is program director. No,
Mm-hmm.
So what I know is that primarily, siguro, we really want Coach Bo to be part of the transition. That's why his role is still very important, even if he has relinquished his role as the head coach. Probably his role as program director will be very critical in the transition, because this is a major change also after 4 or 5 years of being the head coach. Medyo major change to for the team.
Speaking of major changes for the team, one of the noticeable aspects once the UP Fighting Maroons return to action is that the team you will have is going to be quite different from the team that you had the last time we saw UP in the UAAP. Of course, worth mentioning that gone are Kobe Paras, the Gomez Deliano brothers. They have taken their skills internationally, which is a trend that is now happening in Philippine basketball. But what's the vibe for UP now surrounding your new talent like Carl Tamayo, like Terence Fortea, and of course you have a transferee in CJ Cancino. You still have Richie Rivero. So Coach Bo, do you feel confident knowing you're leaving the team to whoever the next head coach will be in with a lot of talent still present in the roster?
Yes, that was actually the intention, Naveen, no, in trying to recruit these calibered players in the last few months. So last year and months before that. No, the objective being that if our current players are going to graduate or even decide to play internationally, then the next batch would be able to carry the cudgels for the program. No, yan ang intention natin. That's why yan naman talaga, Naveen, yung pipeline yan kasi is that sino bang aalis this year, sino yung bang papalit, no? And the management and the sponsors did a very good job in trying to fill in, no, the manpower that we're going to lack in the next few years. That's why nandiyan na yung mga bagong recruits natin. You know, so that is also one of the reasons why, Naveen, let me go back again for your earlier question, kasi you're trying to restart again, you're trying to rebuild again, and that is going to be a another story, you know, kasi this itong batch na to who went into the championship and after that, they have their own story. So this one, magkakaroon ito ng panibagong istorya, eh. You know, and they will have their own character, they will all have their own culture and all of that, you know. But I really feel that competitively wise, they will be ready to compete with any team in the UAAP.
Sir Renan, and as we welcome back Sir Aggs, just to test, Sir Aggs, can you hear us properly now? Okay, as we are working on that, Sir Renan, when UP hired Coach Bo
Yeah, I
to
can
steer
hear
the
you clearly. But
Okay, there. All right, all right. We're gonna try to get there. Okay, Sir Aggs, how about now? All good? Okay, okay. So we have a bit of a delay. So, Sir Renan, when UP hired Coach Bo Perasol in
yeah, I can hear
2015,
you.
the the objective was simple, which was to change the culture from perennial losers, if that's fair to say, to respectable. Now, 6 years later, UP is in a different state than it was that time ago. Overall, how satisfied are you and the rest of Nowhere to Go But Up and the rest of management of the job that Coach Bo has done, not only in the basketball court, but also being a coach, a man to the young boys you have on the team?
Very satisfied kami, Naveen, ano, because yung na-achieve ni Coach Bo with the team, unprecedented yon for us. Considering na when we started Nowhere to Go But Up, helping the team in 2014, ang goal lang namin nun is masubukan, maramdaman how does it feel to win. Kaya isang game lang na manalo, nag-bonfire kagad kami. Now, if you look at it, after 5 years or 4 seasons ni Coach Bo, sa akin bilang the organizational person in this program, ang pinaka-legacy ni Coach Bo, number 1 is really the winning culture na na-imbibe ng team. No? And number 2, more than that, more than being in the Final Four or even in the finals, it's being able to institutionalize or the sustainability of the program. I think that's what's crucial kasi para people will come and go, management will come and go, coaches will come and go. Pero kahit magbago man, because that's what Coach Bo achieved, magbago man ang coaching staff, sustainable ang program ng UP at this point.
That's interesting that you say very satisfied. And I want to ask Coach Bo a similar question. By the way, we're seeing in the comments right now, naiiyak na ako. Some people are feeling very emotional about Coach Bo's decision to leave the Fighting Maroons. Coach Bo, not only in the basketball court, but also you had roles for UP that went beyond just being the coach, beyond just the X's and O's. Are you yourself satisfied with your performance as coach of the UP Fighting Maroons? What are your thoughts about it?
Naveen, earlier I was asked by a friend of mine, uh, what, what instance would I feel or did I feel most fulfilled in my experience as the coach? No, alam mong naisip ko, I would like to believe na ang pinakamasaya para sa lahat was nung nakita mong pumasok sa Final Four, get into the championship, see the community cheering for us, overflowing in Araneta and all of that, and then in season 82, everybody watching, filled up the arenas and all of that. No, but truth to say, alam mong most fulfilling part ng pagiging coach ko, alam mo nung nakikita ko nang gumagraduate na yung mga players ko eh. No, nakita kong gumraduate si Janjan, sila Jello, eventually nandiyan na si Javi, ang dami na nilang gumraduate eh, no. That's why I've been trying to tell them that I've been trying to emphasize to them that only a few percentage of them who really going to make it big in basketball. But if you are going to have that fallback, given the chance to finish a degree in the University of the Philippines, then I one was able to do my job. No, not only in basketball but also as their mentor. Yun ang importante sa akin eh kasi although we wanted to win games, but I wanted them, my players, on a personal note, I wanted them to win in life as well. Yun naman ang importante also for them.
That's very well said, Coach. And let's attempt to get Sir Aggs now. Is the internet cooperating na?
Yeah, I changed my internet. Am I good?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you're good. Great, great. Okay, so Attorney Aggs, can you give us some info about what the future looks right now for UP Fighting Maroons basketball as their team manager? What are the immediate goals? What are the immediate objectives, especially since we're still in a pandemic?
Currently, there's a lot of anxiety, if I can use that word, for the players. Obviously, with the new coach, you'll have a new system, a new culture in a sense, new personalities coming in. So the first thing for us is really addressing that anxiety for the players and the staff, and hopefully the process of selection has just started. So we really hope that UP can fast track the process, but I understand there's a lot of applicants actually. So I don't know how fast UP can select a new coach, and that should address the anxiety within especially among the players, and maybe already start looking at the things that we have to do going forward. In the meantime, a lot of the players are not here, so they're all over. They're in the provinces. They are in abroad. So um, nothing really has been done internally. No practices except individual SNCs. So the direction really is waiting for that decision from the UP administration.
Great. First of all, good job with changing the internet. That has come in very handy. It's nice to hear your voice finally. You mentioned fast tracking the progress for the next head coach. If we may know, what are exactly the qualifications the Fighting Maroons are looking for from its new head coach? Will there be required credentials? Does the coach have to be a UP alumnus? What are some information that you can provide us about what you're looking for? That's for Sir Aggs, by the way.
The requirement for the there's yeah there's no requirement that the coach should be a UP alumnus. There had in recent years we have a coach Renzi Bahar who's not from UP, so that's not a requirement. I think the really it's more of the credentials, and secondly, being able to absorb and go through, adapt to the UP culture. So and deal with the different personalities. I think that's important because the way we're organized, we like work by committee. So that's how it is. So you should have a person who can work with different personalities, and create consensus among the sponsors, the officers of UP, the administration, and the management, the coaches. So somebody with both, of course, the credential to coach should be there, but really also having the personality to be able to adapt to the UP culture and deal with all the
Mhm.
personalities, given that the management of the UP basketball team is quite unique. So probably that for now. But again, UP itself has its own, because it's not us really. It's UP will make the final decision. So they also have their standards, the usual standards for coaches.
Right. There have been reports after it became public that Coach Bo is stepping down from head coach of certain names, of certain candidates being considered for the next head coach. Some of the names that have been reported out there, including reported by us at Rappler, are Goldwyn Monteverde, Patrick Aquino, of course, who's the coach of NU's Lady Bulldogs team, as well as some of your assistants right now, like Poch Wino, Moriah Gingerich, and Savi Nunag. So this question is for anyone to answer because, of course, Coach Bo is also now part of the process. How serious are the recommendations for those five names mentioned? And are there any other names that we should remember in this process? Anyone can take the floor on this.
Can I go ahead? I've heard that
Yes.
I heard that Frankie Lim and is also applying. So we haven't
Okay.
really talked to UP and asked to who are the people that have applied. So we don't know, and we're not privy also to the list submitted by Coach Bo. So, but then there's a lot of again, there's a lot of interest actually at this time. A lot of people are wanting to coach UP.
Interesting. Coach Bo, as someone who has been in the thick of the battle, in the UAAP sidelines, in the biggest stage, the finals, when the bright lights are shining the most, what do you think about the potential and the talent in terms of coaching of some of the candidates that were mentioned? Like, for example, Coach Goldwyn has won multiple titles in the high school ranks. Of course, you work with Coach Mo and Coach Poch. So, and Coach Patrick Aquino is also the coach of the women's national team. So in terms of seeing how they are as coaches, what are your thoughts about these possible replacements?
Alam mong importante naman dyan, Naveen, is tama yung sinasabi ni Manager Aggs earlier, no? Yung adaptability. Kasi when you talk about experience, there was a time also that I was inexperienced. Hindi naman lahat ng magiging applicant natin are going to be experienced coaches. But I dare say that if hindi rin lahat na magagaling na coaches ay sakto sa UP culture. So hindi walang walang there's no magic formula for that. So we really have to find a way how we can make it happen. Coach Goldwyn is very capable. Coach Pat is very capable. They've proven. Ganon din si Coach Javi and all the rest. No, by the way, hindi lahat ng mga sinabit ko doon are there. That's why I do not want to preempt the declaration of the UP administration kung sino ang mga yon. But these are just names which came out. No, but I'm quite sure that most of them are going to be are in fact qualified to coach UP. But the job and the main responsibility of choosing from those are going to be at the shoulders of the UP administration. So we would probably be giving our own 2 cents of ideas, but in the end, it's going to be the chancellor who's going to make that final decision.
Sir Renan, UP has had a number of coaches over the last 2 decades. There have been years where every year almost you have a new head coach. So you have mentioned in the past one of the reasons why Coach Bo has been successful with UP and has lasted long, 4 seasons, is because of his emotional connection, not only to the team, not only to management, but also in terms of building that connection with the community. So when you think about that, the connection with the community, because we saw how passionate the UP fans can be, is that going to be an integral factor for you in terms of finding out who will be the next head coach and leader of the Fighting Maroons?
You're right, Naveen. When we started, wala talagang perfect formula or mix. But somehow, my experience with Coach Bo, and these are some of the side stories, Coach Bo came at a time na talagang we're just starting to be organized. In fact, kami nga as management, natatawa kami because when we look at it, even the head coach, Coach Bo, meron siyang mga ibang functions ng management. Madalas kasama namin si Coach Bo pagkakausap yung mga partners, sponsors, and patrons when we meet the different groups of the UP community. So for me, that's very important kasi I think it's really the community power na tinatawag ko, yung magic ng UP no? It's the community power. Pero of course, yung UP administration, baka may mga basic requirements sila for and standards for looking for the next coach. Pero kami naman, when they got our inputs, basic lang ang sinabi namin. For example, in my case, I said, number one, continuity. No? Hindi naman, it doesn't have to be exactly different program. It doesn't have to be an exactly different culture. What we really want is continuity. And number two, we want a coach that is going to recognize that the members of the team are student athletes, no? And they will have to comply and pass academic requirements. And another one, number three, is to reinforce that fighting in the Maroons, the spirit, the character and attitude that we will never surrender, we will never give up, we will always fight hard no matter what the situation is. We will never give up hope. And in relation to that, the last one is to continue what we've achieved already, what Coach Bo has achieved, and that is having that winning culture.
Part of that winning culture has been one of the reasons why you have managed to attract a number of blue chip recruits. And I say that because I want to open the floor now for questions from the public. There's one that was sent by Aya Fuentebella. I believe Sir Aggs, the team manager, can answer this. Is Harold Alarcon part of the UP men's basketball team? Sir Aggs, maybe you could confirm that or deny that. Any update on that?
The one is that the one from NU?
Yes. Harold, he was a player No. Okay. So I believe that answers the question. Yeah. But do you have any other new recruits that we haven't heard of yet?
No. So far, what you've heard, that's it. But yeah, so far.
So remains to be seen. Who knows? Maybe the next few weeks. Okay, so
Yeah.
Yeah, go, sir. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, but the also yeah, but remember the VAS committee, which is the committee that has recruits, also has a period to accept recruits. So they're almost the period to get recruits has already closed. So no
Okay.
more recruits for now.
For now. Okay. So here's a message from Vincent Hipol on Facebook. Just a big thank you to Coach Bo. Thanks for the memories and for putting together an awesome team and for that amazing finals run. Space Labs on YouTube says, thanks, Coach Bo, and has a question. What do you think of our chances? I'm guessing Space Labs is from UP. Interesting name, by the way. What do you think of our chances next season with some of our veteran players leaving the team? This is for Coach Bo, yes.
Yeah, I'm always optimistic about our chances. So ever since I came in, even when we were still starting season 79, wala pa naman masyado kaming mga blue chip players at that time. But when you start about thinking about that you can, lagi naman yung chance nandyan eh. No? So we cannot discount the fact that the UP, with its moniker of Fighting Maroons, is going to be there fighting for that chance. No? They just have to live with that kind of moniker, the fighting heart. So yun ang importante for me. I really think that we have a very good fighting chance with this bunch of new recruits that we have.
Here's another good question, Coach Bo, related to the roster that you will have. This is from James Tamayo on YouTube. Coach Bo, di ba medyo kulang pa ang front line? Sina Dioff, Lina at Tamayo lang ang 6'5" and above. So, is that a priority for the Fighting Maroons to find more front court depth for whenever you guys are back in action?
Yeah, that is a very good question from James. No, he had been following siguro our lineup. That had actually been my concern when I was looking at our lineup. But you have to remember that marami pa kaming mga 6'3", 6'4" guys. No, I don't know if you remember the CJ Katapusan. There's Antonio Sebio from Canada. These are 6'3", 6'4" guys with may length din sila. But you are right. If you're going to compare our frontline lineup against LaSalle or against Ateneo, I think that we are going to be comparatively smaller than they will be. But in due time, yeah, who knows that we're going to have a chance to recruit some more taller guys for the team.
Interesting. James, I hope that answers your question. And again, if anyone else has other questions, feel free to send them our way. So, Sir Renan, as someone who got the chance to write stories about UP and the basketball team, one thing I know is you all have a lot of fun anecdotes, fun stories. Of course, you have the restaurant where a lot of the great memories happen. Of course, you also have Via Mare at UP and many other places where memories were created. So I ask you now, could you share a story about Coach Bo, a never before told story that you might have? That it could be funny, it could be serious, a story maybe for the fans to hear right now as they say goodbye to their now former head coach.
There was this instance, Naveen, and it was the first time it happened. When Coach Bo was suspended, ang sabi ko kay Coach Bo, saan ka manunood? Sabi niya, sa bahay in Santa Rosa. Sabi ko, that's too far. Dito tayo manood sa malapit lang sa MOA. So we got a room, doon kami nanood while the game was ongoing. While we were watching, meron kaming food and some drinks. Grabe pala pag audience si Coach Bo. sobrang ingay. Sabi ko, lilipat na lang ako doon sa court. Na-stress ako dito kasama si Coach Bo eh. Kasi ang sinabi naman ni Coach Bo noon, iba rin yung perspective pag nanonood ka lang, especially from television. Eh. Nakikita niya yung lahat. No? So in a way, when he was serving his suspension at that time, and he was watching the game from where we are, hindi naman nasayang din yung pagka-suspend sa kanya because marami siyang nakita from where we were at that time. Kaya lang, dahil kami magkatabi nun, parang ako lang yung, kumbaga sa bench, ako lang yung player doon, parang ako yung na-stress. Ako sabi ko, lilipat na lang ako dun sa MOA. Iwala kita dito. So that's it to me. I can't forget that incident.
Coach Bo, do you remember what I think? Yes, Coach Bo is back. Coach Bo, do you remember that story that Sir Renan shared? And what do you remember about having drinks and watching from a restaurant or a room instead of being on the sidelines?
Right. I vividly remember that because I was the one who's creating the stressful atmosphere at that time because I really wanted to prove a point that we could win, with or without me there. And tama si Chairman Renan, nakikita mo yung diferensya ng team mo when you're watching it on TV. Minsan gusto mong sigawan, Jun, ipasa mo na! Ipasa, napakabagal ng bola mo. Bakit ang bagal ng transition natin? Si Chairman Renan, pakiramdam niya, siya yung nasisigawan ko tuloy. Kaya sabi niya, doon na ako sa venue, mas masarap pa ron. So yeah, those are very funny anecdotes, and I'm going to treasure those times. In fact, sinasabi ko nga Naveen kanina, a lot of people are saying their thanks, but ako dapat ang magpasalamat because ako yung nakakita ng parang sinasabi ko na the most fulfilling job that I've ever done. Nagawa ko sa UP and then alma mater ko pa. Napakasaya, Sabi ko nga kanina, almost 30 years na akong nagko-coach and nangyari pa tong pinakamasaya kong experience sa UP. Kaya I really have this peace in my heart that I'm going to leave the team intact and still fighting.
Great words. I want to check. Sir Aggs, are you there with us? Can you hear our audio? Because there's an important question I would like to ask.
Yeah.
Do we have Sir Aggs? Okay, yes. So Sir Aggs can hear us. So
yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So Sir Aggs, the important question is, masaya bang kainom si Coach Bo?
Can you repeat the question? Masaya
kainom si Coach Bo? Yan, narinig niyo? Masaya bang kainom si Coach Bo?
Ay, hindi. Masyado seryoso. Si Coach po masyadong seryoso. Ako yung nagpapatawa. Kahit sa even off court over dinner, seryoso pa rin siya. Not much difference actually. Seryoso pa rin niya si Bo kahit mag-dinner or even ako nagpapatawa.
Chairman Renan, I believe you had a comment that you wanted to say about that.
Masarap na magastos kasi pag si Coach Bo ang kainuman namin, kailangan lechon Cebu ang pulutan. That's his favorite.
So Coach Bo so who can eat more lechon? Si Bright or si Coach Bo?
No brainer. Wala akong laban doon.
Walang tatalo kay Bright.
Okay, so Coach Bo, if you don't mind me asking, so a few weeks ago, even before this official news of you stepping down came out, there were some reports that were released that you had already decided to step down back then and you already had a replacement for your coaching spot. And of course, if I can mention it, this news came out not long after you had a personal challenge that you were going through. So the reason why I asked that is because this decision, is it something that you had been weighing and deciding for months already? Or was it something that just recently you decided maybe it's time to step down?
Tama ka, Naveen, no? Matagal, hindi ko lang actually personally pinag-iisipan yan. Kung hindi, I had been coordinating and conferring with Aggs and with Renan, with our sponsors, with the UP administration. Kaya lumabas yung balita na yan because it was kind of premature. Pero lumabas yon that I haven't really decided yet. You know, I was on the process because I was talking to all the stakeholders, but wala pang desisyon, no? Because ang iniisip namin at that time was ano ba ang mangyayari sa team, sino bang i-consult natin, who are we going to consider as coaches, lahat ng yan. And then we were able to finish that after siguro a month, no, na pag-uusap. That's why eto talagang naiplano natin yung pagpapalabas nito. And in fact, itong mga pinag-uusapan natin mas magaan mas magaan sa loob kasi pinaghandaan natin lahat at tama yung panahon, tama yung timing.
Now that you're moving on also, it's fair to mention that you are leaving the team in good hands for whoever the next coach is. Number one, because you have installed the culture. But number two also is because UP has a number of blue chip recruits that let's just say UP has been busy over the last year and a half in terms of stocking up on talent. But because of that too, there has been criticism that the Fighting Maroons are overdoing it in terms of finding recruits. There's been criticism that there are only a certain number of roster spots available, but you have a number of recruits. Now, it's worth saying too that maybe you were thinking ahead because a number of your players who you expected to come back have now gone to Japan, which makes having a number of recruits waiting an asset. What is your reaction? Let's ask Sir Renan. What is your reaction to the criticism that UP is over recruiting and that you only have limited slots for players who may end up just transferring?
Siguro one thing, Naveen, that we've also imbibed with the organization in terms of planning, parang we're always trying to be 10 steps ahead. And I think parang madaling ma-misinterpret na nag-overstock ng mga recruits. But we were also proven right because while we really welcome yung pagbabalik sana ni Javi, and of course, may playing year pa si Kobe, no? And even one. But yun nga, when we were planning ahead, we were also considering all the other possibilities. Now, what if we didn't plan for it, hindi namin ginawa, and then all these things happened? Mas mahirap maghabol. So I think nag-pay off naman yung efforts nila Coach Bo, nila team manager Aggs. But at the same time, we were simply preparing. It's not even at the point of overstocking because ang dami namin nag-graduates. Ang dami nag-graduate. So we really had to replenish that with the new recruits. Na this time hindi siya necessarily transferee. They're gonna start as freshmen and they're gonna stay in UP for so long, 4 or 5 years.
I want to mention again that the floor is open for questions from the viewers right now. Sir Renan, what can we expect out of Richie Rivero now that he will technically be the veteran of the team for whenever the Maroons are back in action?
Of course, dahil isa siya sa mga may iwan from the previous season, we of course expect leadership also from Richie, the same way we were expecting leadership from the seniors. And I think si Richie at this point, malaki yung role niya, lalo na most of the new recruits are really freshmen. And siya being a veteran, being a senior, we're going to expect a lot of leadership from Richie.
And also, it's worth noting that CJ Cancino, who transferred to UP from UST, will technically now be a veteran player too, given that UP will have a generally young roster. Although one of your young talents, Carl Tamayo, recently played very well for Gilas in the international tournaments. Coach Bo, you won't get the chance to coach Carl as a head coach, but you were there for the recruitment process of Carl as well as Jerry. What can the UP faithful expect out of Carl Tamayo? Because right now, the excitement can be felt, whether that's social media or even in person.
Well, recruiting Carl was, I think, the biggest blessing for the UP program. It's seldom that you're able to recruit a 6'8", skilled, agile, experienced at a championship level guy. Wala ka nang masasabi at nakita naman natin lahat what Carl can do, and he's just a freshman. But saying that, we also know that he won't be able to do it on his own. Kaya naman nandiyan na yung mga magagaling nating point guards like si Maymay Kagulangan, nandiyan na si Jerry Abadiano, and Malik also as our student import. So itong ginagawa natin na Vin, kanina pa natin binabanggit to. This is like a proof of concept. Gusto ko lang balikan yung sinabi kanina ni Chairman Renan kasi the main objective of what we had been doing in the last 4 or 5 years was really to create that sustainability. And itong relinquishing my post is the biggest test of that. So far, if this program can move on and go on, and this is not going to be personality based, yan yung gusto nating i-create sa programa ng UP, that coaches will come and go, maybe the people who are managing are going to come and go, but the organization is there, the sustainability is there, the structure is there. Yun ang importante sa lahat, because if there's going to be a model for that, nandiyan nakita natin yung Ateneo, nakita natin yung FEU, nakita natin ng Lasal, na walang pagbabago, magbago man ng coach, magbago man ng management and all, they're always a perennial contender. So yan ang gusto nating mangyari dito sa UP.
Sustainability, that's an interesting word because you mentioned programs like FEU, Ateneo, Lasal too. FEU and Ateneo specifically the last few years have been the model of consistency in the UAAP in terms of being in the Final Four and contending. So consistency is the key. Everyone says that. Now, as far as the UAAP goes, there's a question here from James Tamayo. Will there be UAAP basketball this year? He's asking me. From what I've heard, and maybe Sir Aggs could provide some information on this too, is that it's likely the UAAP will return in 2022 instead of 2021. And the chances are it might be basketball and volleyball before other sports. Although that I'm not 100% sure yet. Attorney Aggs, do you have any information about when the UAAP might return? Did you hear the question, Attorney Aggs? Okay, so I think we might be experiencing some technical difficulties. Let me
Can you hear me?
there. Yeah, we can hear you now. Did you hear the question?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Okay, so some internet difficulties right now. Let me reroute the question to Chairman Renan. What have you heard in terms of the UAAP returning? Any news you might be able to share?
Of course, nothing is official because wala pa naman talagang directive that we get from the board or even from UP officials. Pero we've been hearing siguro because parang talking to the UP officials, parang sinasabi na rin nila na ano yung mga kailangan to be able to prepare because there's talks na baka mag-open by February, although that's not official. And then there's also talks na baka there's going to be 2 seasons for next year, no? Something like February and November, no? Season 84 and 85, I think. So yun yung mga naririnig namin, although again, I will emphasize that nothing is official yet, no?
Yes, nothing is official. Everything is fluid. And just to piggyback on what Sir Renan said, what I'm hearing too is the chances are the UAP won't return until face-to-face classes return first, because you can't have the student athletes playing as athletes without them being students in the classroom first. So that's a topic worth seeing. Of course, talks about vaccine, but that's for another time. Let's go back now to reminiscing as we near the end of this episode. Coach Bo, can you name us your top 3 moments as the head coach of the UP Fighting Maroons? And I'm not just talking on the basketball court or your success with the team, just overall the last 6 years. What are your 3 favorite moments being the head coach of UP?
First, probably it would be the initial meetings I had with Aggs and Renan and nowhere to go but our people, no? Because as we're trying to parang create a vision for the team, doon talaga nag-ano yan eh. Doon I remember because we had this meeting at Novotel, when we are trying to in fact we have this Oplan Championship parang Viber group, no? Ginawa namin to because we really wanted to be in the championship after siguro mga when we were beginning siguro mga 3 or 4 years, and we were able to achieve that, although hindi na kami eventually naging champion, but we were in the championship. So that was one instance na talagang it's a proof that when you put your heads together into one objective at tulong-tulong kayo lahat, ay palagay ko ma-achieve talaga ninyo. And alam mo ang mga most memorable ko ng mga experiences also with them was when we went mostly sa out of the country trips namin, or like in Las Vegas, in Japan, in Serbia, in Taiwan, a lot of those places na nakikita mo yung tunay nilang personality. I don't get to be with them a lot of times when we are in Manila kasi here in Manila kasi after practice umuwi naman yan eh. But when we're there, we're together 24/7. We get to practice twice a day. So I get to cherish those times that I was able to parang talk with them, parang know them as a person. Kaya I got really closer to a lot of them, if not most of them, sa mga instances na yon.
Very interesting. I want to take this time also to mention the comment of James Galarosa, who many know plays a role also in the everyday, day-to-day functions of the UP Fighting Maroons. James says, UP Fight, thank you, Coach Bo. Sir Renan, there's a question here from Paulo Catalan. You might be able to answer this. What is the bigger factor in hiring the new UP head coach? Is it winning or is it player development?
Ang winning kasi parang it's an effect. It comes afterwards. In fact, naririnig ko nga, I've been reading the news at sinasabi na we're back to rebuilding. Iba yung rebuilding noong 2014, iba yung rebuilding ng ngayon, no? I think what Coach Bo will leave us is he's leaving us with a team that's full of talent. It's a very young team. Tsaka may mga basketball skills at par with the best, no? So yung winning is really an effect of a combination of different variables like the culture, player development, even academics, yung kanilang pagiging part ng community. So it's not really winning, pero dito sa rebuilding na to, kung ang plano namin before, kung ang goal namin before, 1 win lang, or makaabot ng Final Four, or eventually makaabot ng finals. But this time, dahil iba naman yung inabutan ni Coach Bo sa iiwanan niya ngayon, our goal really is just to be a consistent contender. No? Hindi nawawala yung fighting dun sa pangalan ng Maroons. No? Whatever the odds are, kasi that's also part of player development kahit because that's a story of UP Maroons, no? Nagsimula sa bottom, parang walang pag-asa. When we started putting our heads together and we started believing, nothing is impossible. So that's very critical, no? So yung winning, it's an effect, it will come, no? And of course, having a new coach, it's gonna be medyo unreasonable naman para sabihin namin gusto namin mag-champion agad. Of course, sino ba naman may ayaw? But more than winning the championship at this point is really to continue that culture, no, and to be a consistent contender.
Mhm. I want to point out the comment here of Jessie Tan. We will miss you so much talaga as our UPMBT head coach, Coach Bose. Still remember the first time we met sa basketball court ng Corinthian Gardens. She is rooting for your future endeavors, which still is part of UP. James Tamayo says, sana maging UP winning Maroons na. Puro na lang fighting. So I believe that's a sign that a number of UP faithful are hungry and thirsty for the team's first championship since 1986. We are nearing an hour here, so we will look to close soon. But before we do, maybe we can have some final words to reflect on what was a successful half decade with Coach Bo at the helm and what's to come. Internet permitting, let's start with Sir Aggs. What are your parting words for the UP community in terms of what the future has in store for the Fighting Maroons?
Siguro ng time ni Bo, there were no players really wanting to go to UP, and the direction then was to players who were only gonna play for 2 or 3 years. So, mabilis yung turnover ng mga players. What he has done and what we have put in place is to be able to get recruits, first-year players, meaning high school rates, and have them for at least 4 years, and at the more stable programs. Ganun talaga yung model. Yan ang hindi naintindihan. We of that in the last year to getting high school graduates, and that's the success of the program. If you don't have ability in getting recruits, then you will not have a competitive program, and that is what the Coach Bo has done to you now. Iba kasi they just want to see winning as the end, but they did not see the hard work behind it.
That's for sure. And before we move on to Chairman Renan, first I want to congratulate also Attorney Aggs. He recently became a grandfather. Congratulations also to Agatha and Paul, of course, on an adorable young baby. I think many would say that Attorney Aggs looks too handsome to be a grandfather at this age, diba? So 2 questions, Sir Renan. Number 1, do you agree with that statement? And number 2, what does the future hold for the UP men's basketball program?
Yeah, oo. I think si Aggs yung pinaka-poging lolo. At it's not coming from me. Si Rubina nagsabi niyan, ha? Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again, Naveen, na even with the changing of the guards sa coaching staff, we didn't get this far to only come this far. We haven't lost that track, our goal of winning the championship one day, but hopefully soon. But as long, and this is my belief, as long as yung 6th man on the court mo at ito yung paniwala ng present batch of players natin, is the community. One day, very soon, because we've reached this stage, it's gonna happen. Hindi malayo with this present team that we have kasi puro mga bata pa to. They have 4 years, 5 years na ibibigay nila sa UP. And lastly siguro, I just want to say that the community power ng UP community, and we've shown that, is really what gives us the magic. So tuloy-tuloy lang.
Like what you once said, Chairman Renan, the UP crowd is a sleeping giant that's waiting to be awakened, which happened during Coach Bo's time with the Fighting Maroons. And you also mentioned Ma'am Robina. We want to wish a happy birthday to Ma'am Robina, of course. It's her birthday today.
Happy birthday.
And yes. Coach Bo, the stage is yours for your final statement. Let's pretend you're still the head coach of the Fighting Maroons right now. As you're about to move on to your new role, what are your parting words for the UP community as you look back at your time as head coach?
You know, the opportunity for me to be detached just 24 hours from when I it got me to really feel this parang unmistakable joy in my heart na hindi ko naramdaman when I was still part of that, no? Kasi para bang iniisip mo, I was given the chance to lead an awesome and amazing group of people, no? Renan, Aggs, and all our sponsors, my players for the last 5 years, 6 years. Alam mo, very personal sa akin na talagang very joyful ako about what happened. Although a lot of them are thanking me, but for me, it's mostly my Thanksgiving being extended to the UP community, to Aggs and Renan, to Nowhere, and all the sponsors, no, for giving me this opportunity to lead this team the last 5 or 6 years. So, as I said, I'm truly going to be cherishing that experience I had with the team, and it's forever going to be in my heart. So again, thank you to the UP community.
And there it is, Coach Bo's final words as head coach. I guess now I have to start calling you Director Bo instead of Coach Bo, if ever, for your new title. But Sir Renan, Sir Aggs, and Coach Bo, Director Bo, thank you for taking the time out tonight to talk to me as part of Rappler Talk Sports. This was a fun episode, of course. Thank you to everyone in the comments who are active. We're seeing until now a lot of We Bo leave comments, so I believe that's one of the positive things about you being the head coach was the term, no, we both leave, which I feel will live in UP sports lore for a long time. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. Thank you for your thoughts and sharing the information about the past and future of the UP community. And God bless to everyone watching tonight. Stay safe. Again, thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Naveen.
Thank you too.